We're at Consensus in Austin, Texas, 2023. Here with Steven from Axelar. Thank goodness I got that out right of the way. It's another edition of Games with Web3 Frens. Today you selected Jenga.
Did.
We're going to learn a little bit about you, Axelar, where you're at with hiring. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's been a fun Consensus so far, and I feel like this just builds on that.
There you go. We've done it all of the crypto conferences this year, and communities kind of liked it. Then your community, judges your skills. So
That's the part I'm not looking for.
all right, the comment section gets a little wild.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
no pressure. Lacey makes me do this. Rules.
Okay, yeah, house rules.
Yeah, exactly. She has to place on top. I did one in the comments. I got crushed. Like, I'm gonna go to the side. Yeah, I know.
What?
I know. It was bad Jenga policy, but and then one hand. So was that nice? But introduce yourself a little bit. Let's a little bit on Axelar.
Sure. So my name is Steven Fluid. I'm head of developer relations at Axelar. So basically my job is to make developers successful and also understand and empathize with them so that we can build better products, tell better stories, and explain things better. So a little bit about Axelar is we're really trying to be a platform that makes it easy to build Web3 apps that cross multiple blockchains. So we have all sorts of primitives around sending tokens, sending messages, so you can build apps at kind of a higher level where maybe you have a bunch of different apps across all the different blockchains and they're communicating, they're building something better than what you can build on a single blockchain.
Fantastic. How has conference season been this year? And maybe just give a selfish question. Where do you kind of see, your space, your position in the space? That we going up, we going down? Is it a good time to jump into it? Utilize tools like yourselves, especially like a Web2 company out there and looking at you. Is now the time, or aren't people too late?
Sure. So I'll say the conference season has been fantastic so far. One of the things in crypto that you probably know is everything's last minute. So what we're trying to do is I'm trying to have a much longer view of like, hey, what's the year of conferences? And so we set a plan, but now we've added like twice as many conferences just in terms of like things that have come up. But we actually ran our own event. Should we start playing?
You should. You're first.
All right, I'm first. So we actually ran our own conference at ETH Denver called the Interop Summit. And we had like 1,300 people come. So it was really fantastic turnout for like an inaugural event for us.
Okay.
So the Interop Summit was all about how can we all work together to figure out how do we connect and build like interoperable solutions. It's like there's lots of innovation all over the place. And if you can take advantage of all of the innovation, that's when I think developers and all of us can win.
Yeah. You're obviously for hiring. I'd love to hear a little bit about what it's like working with your team. And it's got to be, I would imagine, given your health relationships, really in crypto, probably having like early stage conversations with a lot of people that don't even know what their products really are. How exciting is that? Maybe why would somebody want to come and on a or to have those types of conversations?
Sure. So the main reason that I came to Axelar, I think that's a good reason for anyone to kind of think about Cardias, is we're really trying to create a better type of application. So a lot of people that get pulled into crypto, they pulled in by their blockchain, right? I love this blockchain, I love that blockchain. And they kind of end up being siloed there, subject to all the trade-offs of that blockchain. But to me, if you can empower people to take advantage of the differences between the different blockchains, that's kind of the magic. So I feel like we're at a very impactful space where basically like we're trying to build this kind of new interchain way of doing things.
Sure.
And I mean that's part of I love. It's like, how do I build tools that empower the entire ecosystem and make the ecosystem like usher in the next generation of the ecosystem?
Yeah.
I feel like you've played Jenga before.
It's gonna be you have too, I can tell. On his left hand. I don't know, switch hand on top work, is that kosher? Yeah, all right. Referee says it's kosher. What's the state of your team? Is the company, maybe what's, do you have all different types of roles, or is it a lot? I'm super interested because it seems like you're like one of those foundational partners.
Absolutely.
You have to talk to people. Really almost even potentially the lifestyle company that they work with you guys for some of your I'm a CTO myself, so I'm totally interested in diving in. with you guys?
Sure. So I've been part of a lot of kind of high growth companies. So I was at a startup that grew from like 2 people to up to 400 people a few years ago, and then I was at Chainlink Labs for a couple of years. So I've kind of experienced a lot of very hyper growth, fun growth. Axelar, they're really trying to focus on sustainable growth. They're building for the long term, which I really love. And so that's it's hard to think and play Jenga. I've never had to do this before.
It is. It's part of the allure of the game, yeah.
So to me, it's the team size is around 40 going on 50 right now. Got a number of different roles open. I'm actually hiring as well. So like our developer relations team, we basically just got it started with me joining the team on like late last year. So myself personally, I'm hiring developer advocates, which are folks that are, I think of them as kind of the jack of all trades, where they can write a blog post, they can present at a conference, they can come and play Jenga with you, all those sorts of important skills. And then that's not good. That's not good. What have we done here?
We put a house of nerds up for sure.
And then we're also hiring developer documentation technical writers. So folks that can like take our actual documentation, like docs.axelar.dev, and make them better for developers.
Stealing my heart. There's nothing as good as good documentation. For all the XLR community that's listening today, Metaintro, with a professional resume wallet for Web3, primarily what we know, of course, our Discord, which has about 20,000 members in it, and it's all Web3 jobs posted. So we'd love to feature some of these developer relation roles on our community. We have a newsletter that's pretty active as well. What's like the first thing you should look for in a candidate that's going to make them stand out?
Sure. So I mean, I can't say the first thing, but I can say the 3 ways that I think about it. So I tend to look at candidates based on 3 things. So number 1, do you have empathy for developers? Like, were you an engineer at some point in your career? Have you built things? Have you worked with engineers before? Is it like, do you actually, when someone talks about code or the challenges in building code, do you get those challenges? Second is, do you have developer relation skill set, like, or technical writing skill sets? Like, do you have that role-based knowledge of like, you've done this before? Is it just gonna be easy if you just hop in and do it? And then the third one is blockchain knowledge. Where like, do you actually, like, have you written Solidity before? Have you seen Solidity before? Do you understand this crazy ecosystem that we have and the nuances, the differences with it? And then, so of those 3 things, I say the candidate has to have 1.5 of those.
I like it.
So, because not everyone has blockchain experience, we want to kind of welcome those people in. Not everyone has done developer relations. Maybe you've been an engineer and you're like, hey, I've been kind of doing community, I've cared about community for a long time. How do I get and expand that part of my role?
Absolutely.
So 1.5 of those 3.
You know, I appreciate that because you're not going to find everything at every certificate, and everybody has their strikes and weaknesses. So it's good to, recognize that. Because some hiring managers, unrealistic expectations, that it doesn't allow the best candidates to find things.
Sure. And the other way that kind of manifests is like helping to find the best candidate is I tend to design these roles very open-ended, which is like someone asks in an interview, like, what does my first week look like? Or what does my first month look like? It's actually hard for me to say until I meet the candidate and I figure out what they're good at. Because I once tried to write a list of all the artifacts and deliverables a developer advocate can produce, and it was like 100 things all, right? Because it really does span the gamut from like writing code samples, working with marquee partners, just going. I had a developer advocate who all she did all day, every day was travel to conferences and speak. And like that was what she cared about. There's the organization side. How can you actually bring people together? So there's no one type of task that has to define the role. Like the role kind of morphs to what is the capabilities of the individual, because all of these things are valuable, right? Like if you write a code sample that makes it easier, that's great. Maybe you film a video that makes it easier. Maybe you write a tool that automates some part of a arduous process. Like all of those things are valuable in different ways. And so it really, like the way that I tend to think about it and do like project planning is, how does it align to our overall metrics? Like, is it going to push the North Star forward? How does it align to your skills, and how does it align to your passion? Because maybe there's some piece of crypto that you want to get into. Like, hey, I'm really excited about Move or something like that. How can we benefit you and figure out, like, let's give you the space to learn those things and then apply that to making the ecosystem better.
For the community that's listening, I think I've done this in all times. Even if XLR is not the role for you, these are the types of things you want to hear from a hiring manager, of somebody that is maybe not designing a custom role, but like leaving things open-ended. Again, people are going to have specific skill sets. Getting started, even, it's just it's always an interesting time. and it makes or breaks our business sometimes. Those first, 3 months, first 90 days. It's one of my favorite questions. Does success looks like for you, in a role in 90 days for what I'm doing?
Yeah. This has me feeling absolutely terrified right now.
It's a pretty good game. We've definitely had a pretty good game. This one is going to be interesting. Maybe I'll try this time. Could you tell me a little bit about maybe an exciting product that you guys have either in the works that you're excited about or that you're just released that maybe our community what learn about? Because
that's dirty. Let's see. This table, this cloth is not letting the pieces go.
No.
One of the products that we recently shipped on testnet and it's forthcoming on mainnet is our interchain token standard. So basically, because we have this ability to send messages across different blockchains and connect things, one of the things that we've done is we've made it easy to take any ERC20 and deploy it to a bunch of different chains. So you have an ERC20 on Polygon. You can basically load that up in our interface and now get a version of that on Avalanche and
is this
Ethereum mainnet and all these different blockchains. And then we give you the methods that move it and bridge it back and forth.
Okay,
so you're basically building your own
bridge. Yeah, bridges suck, and they're hard.
So you're basically
not as hard as this, but
okay. I'm gonna try for this one. Slow and steady.
This is gonna be like a 2-hour, interview. We're just gonna be deep.
Reframe the camera.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. So that's on testnet right now. We do have a pretty large actual engineering community within us. We'll just test that out today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And where's maybe some of the best ways to get started with?
Sure. Basically, to get started with anything within Axelar, I'm going to send you to our docs. So docs.axelar.dev, where you can learn all about the simple APIs for sending messages between blockchains, which is kind of the thing that I find most exciting. Is hey, how can I build an app where I can move the compute to wherever I need it to be, all the way to sending tokens, so sending your own ERC20s, things like that.
Well, this is the best game, is it not? Yeah. This is intense. First one of the day. I like it. This is what the people are here for, to watch these amazing Jenga players. World class. I don't even know.
Do you drink caffeine? I'm curious.
I have my coffee right there, yeah.
Okay.
Why did you just chug an espresso?
No, I drink caffeine once every 3-4 months, when I need to do an all-nighter.
Okay.
So.
Very nice. That was a very good game. Enjoy the conversation. I myself was not going to dive into the docs. I think there's use cases for us potentially. So we'll put all links below. Any closing remarks? You can get involved with the Axelar community. Do you guys have a Discord?
Yeah. We got Discord, we got Twitter, everything. All the normal things. I think we just hit over 100,000 followers on Twitter. So we're loving the community and the response we're getting. And, for me, it's all about, I'm really excited to see what you build. That's where the rubber meets the road. It's let's go build some cool stuff together.
Love it. I love it. Thanks. It's been another episode. We'll catch you on the next one, guys.